Space Monkey, you made it. Yay. That's the sun. That's what the sun looked like on September 6th of 2017, just weeks right before the Revelation 12 star alignment. That's not all we had. It turned into that face. Sorry, working with my new tripod here is see it come from the right, block out the sun, it moves from the bottom up, and halfway in between, it looked like that right there. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. I've just been through hell and back is all, so thank you for being patient and waiting for me, and thank you for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this precious family, okay? So let's get the ball rolling here. I gotta scooch this down and get this started here. All right, so what we're looking at is October 30th, 2024, Hallow'S Eve, okay? The day before Halloween. Actually, it's about to turn midnight. Ooh, spooky. All right, here we go. So here's your activity on the sun today. You see this big spire region over here that's growing. So there's something out there, magnetic field that's ripping, pulling plasma away. So something going on out here. Okay, not much to look at here tonight, per se. There's a couple little trailing satellites from a previous event. So we're going to go back to the 29th, which was yesterday, and I didn't get to do a report. So we're going to kind of brush up on this really quick, which is important because we have nothing here. Really? Come on now. Oh, yeah, 2 of 3. Never mind. We want this day then. The 28th. Yes, this is the one I'm looking for. So you see sun diving comet coming in. We were talking about these sun diving comets before and how they might be attracted to some of these other stellar bodies that are out there. And when the sun passes close by those stellar bodies, we come into that comet zone and they start reacting to the sun, okay? Again, like a couple weeks before, we had the comet streaking, not straight at the sun, but coming at a different angle and heading towards another object emerging. It would be one thing if nothing emerged right here and the comet just dissipated into the sun. We know that the solar wind probably dissipated the comet, but that comet was on a trajectory towards this thing, I believe, just like a couple weeks ago, all right? And here we go again with the same kind of scenario and setup again here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll back a little bit here, capture our opening frame, and we'll start going frame by frame through this, and I'll point out our objects and everything. Whoops. I think we went a little too soon. Ooh, okay. So we're already starting at 348, so we're missing some data, but that's okay because we got what we got here already. All right, so let me just a little bit of adjusting there. All right, you can see our sun diving comet coming in, all right? And if there was nothing coming out of here, it would, it gets eaten up by the sun's solar wind, but the trajectory it was on wasn't heading for the sun. It's coming from the right, going left across the screen. So let's just start marching through this. Boom, boom, boom. You can see little satellites and stuff kind of reacting little moons coming out over here already. And then as we get close, it dissipates. The sun kind of, swallows it up, makes it dissipate or whatever. But then here's our object right here coming out, draped with plasma. It's magnetic field grabbing onto some of the plasma and pulling it out. All right, it's a round black object. You can see it kind of best in here. Over here, you can make out your shape. It's right about there. You can see the flow coming out, bending and going around it. Okay, so there's our object right there. And as it passes by, you can see it has a couple little moons with it here, little satellites trailing along with it. You see all the plasma that's been pulled out and ripped away. Okay, so there goes that one. Now we have a bigger object down here. When I put this back into motion, if you were to like close your eye, or not close your eyes, but imagine this object and this other object are standing still, and the sun is going in between them in that comet zone, in between this object on the left and this object on the right. All right, now this is a much bigger object. You can see it right there. Okay, and you can see plasma coming out and bending over it, okay? These things bend and absorb light. They're black. You don't see them because they absorb light. They don't reflect light. Light comes off the sun, hits the ground, bounces off the ground, and goes in your eye, and you see the ground. If the ground did not reflect the sunlight, you would not be able to see the ground you're standing on. Understand that? So this is dark matter. It's a black round spheroid, okay? It's a stellar core so dense that it bends and absorbs light. And you can see the spread and some of the satellites. It's its own little central object with like a small solar system around it, a bunch of objects that are close in by it, and the ones that are further out that may get pulled away by the magnetic pull of the sun. When these two magnets interact, it rips some of these little moons or little satellites away. Okay, so you see the trajectory. Now imagine we're moving into that comet zone that's in between this big object right here that thing was heading for, and then this big object. There's the zone in between this big object and the one that just passed. In the middle was where that comet was going. And what if we're going in between these things? It's all a matter of perspective, really. It makes more sense that we're going through this region of space, for lack of a better term. Okay, so that was back on the 28th, which will have effects on the 31st. Okay, so we're going to back out of this. I showed you the 30th. That's today. There's not much really to see here. You still see this acts like a compass needle, so it points at another magnetic field. So there's a bigger object out there. It's probably out of frame, but you can see the sun reacting to it. All right, now let's move on to our solar ham here. Get the wavy line there. All right, you still with me? All right, good. Let me take a sip here really quick. So first off, our solar flux indice is way up at 270, okay? We're well deep into the red, 70 points into the red, okay? So last time we saw this kind of activity, we reached a 300 and it even went a little higher. But for right now, let's pray it just stops at 270, okay? I don't want to see any higher numbers. Really, I don't. It's not good for us. But anyways, our solar flux indice in the red, 270. We're up 4 points. Our sunspot number count in the red, right at 200. So we dropped we dropped 20 sunspots, which was an event with a bunch of, little satellites that probably each one created a small little spot, and then as it ripped away from the sun and dissipates, we lose spots. So down 20, we were up to 220. So now we're back down to 200, just about to go into the yellow if we continue on the downward trend. Meanwhile, our area is in the red. I haven't seen our area in the red in quite a while, but that can be okay because it might just be more area for separation of spots as well. That can happen as well. All right, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a little peeky here. Okay, over here on this side, we got 3876 with a good configuration here, solid. 3868 3869, this was a contributor earlier in the week. 3872, 3873. Now I want to come over here. That whole patch is kind of like dissipated and moved away. Now our new regions that are popping up are 3878 and 3879. With this configuration right here is really tight. Okay, so we'll have to watch that one next, and it might be contributing already. So, all right, now let me pull back. Actually, let's just go this way, slide on over, and scroll on down, and see how fluxed we are. It goes X-ray flux, that is. Let me get it just right here for you guys. Ah, come here. Where'd that little bar go? There it is. Trying to get it centered so we can see it all a little better. All right, back to where we were. You can see we've had a little M flare activity right here. Kind of slow, not a long duration one, but that was that little activity that we just saw on the 30th today. And then here's a little activity going into the 31st. We might go take a peek at that here in a minute. We'll see if you guys want. But meanwhile, what I want to talk about is their D-layer absorption event, okay? I am a stickler for absorption, because it absorbs into the planet and causes geomagnetic activity, volcanic and earthquake activity. So let me just kind of zoom on back now that we've seen our GOES X-ray flux. And our 3-day geomagnetic forecast, all good for the next 3 days, which is fine with me. I don't want to see any kind of geomagnetic activity whatsoever. So I'd rather see all green for the next 3 days, especially with the way the sun is looking right now. Okay. And, well, our configuration is pretty promising. So we got a X-flare potential of 25%. Okay. We're still enjoying a proton storm as well. Okay. And our latest event, that M flare, was a 7.2, so it was no slouch. It was a healthy M flare. All right. Now into our sunspots, we got these regions right here: 3866 or 3876. That's beta gamma delta and growing still. We also have 3869, that old turkey, that's beta gamma delta again and growing again. All right, so, and we also have to watch out for 3874. Even though it's declining, it's still there. Beta gamma here on 3878 and growing. So we'll have to watch 78 and these ones very carefully. Meanwhile, our aurora is really quiet right now, so we're not taking on a bunch of, energy from the sun right now, which is good. We don't want that. This energy gets transferred to the poles absorb it and send it down to the core, where the core heats up. Swells. The core is made out of metal, and when metal heats, it expands. Well, so does the shell around it, and all the magma expands as well, causing earthquakes and volcanoes. Now let's get into our little article here really quick here. A fairly stable day on the sun today. That was until an M7.2 solar flare that was detected around AR 3878 happened at 2053. There we go. A further update will be provided should any sort of coronal mass ejection be associated, all right? With the presence of a number of mid to large sunspots across the visible solar disk today, the solar flux index for October 30th is 270. It should also be noted that the east-west F2 layer propagation on the 6-meter ham radio band, 50 megahertz between Europe. Okay, we're not too worried about their F2 layer right now. Here's your 7.2. All right, this was a flare, and it didn't produce much of a CME. All right, so we'll kind of watch that as it goes. Now, what I'm talking about sometimes is these objects that induce these solar flares and these CMEs, even though the CME or something's traveling away from us, when the object actually passes by us, it can still harbor, radiation. So let me just open up this tracker. They're not really tracking this. All right, see how this little slight wave is moving away? The object that hit the, induced this could still be going by us, even though the CME isn't. So when we come back over to the to this geomagnetic forecast for the 31st right here, don't be surprised if we get a surprise geomagnetic storm because of that event back on the 28th that I showed you, and that was heading in our direction. Even though they didn't call for much of an event, I stick with the 3 days, and that says the 31st, we might see a little impact that might surprise. Okay, so I pray I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong and we don't get grazed by the magnetic field of that other object. Other things to talk about really quick here. Large solar prominent located off the southwest limb of the sun lifted off beginning at 11:30. And although some of the plasma event was not directly facing Earth, no impact should be expected till beautiful solar sight. See, where else was that? So we did the tracker. There's nothing coming. I want to open up this one really quick here now. All right, really quick here. Still with our geomagnetic storm watch, G1. A CME might graze Earth on November 1st, sparking a minor G1 class geomagnetic storm. The CME was hurled into space by an erupting filament of magnetism on October 29th. Okay, that's the day we didn't get to see on the model because there was only 3 frames. So NASA model shows the CME barely touching Earth, so this low probability forecast. I'm thinking a totally different event associated with the day before on the 28th, striking on the 31st. This is different. They're talking about this one right here that happened on the 29th. That shouldn't hit until, November 1st. Maybe even the 2nd. All right. And here it is, all flare and no CME. A very strong solar flare produced a CME, right? Not so fast. Solar flares and CMEs don't always go together. Yesterday's M7 class flare from Sunspot 3878 is a great example. Yes, it is. It is a perfect example of how magnetic fields, when they touch, they can arc. It's a spark. It's just like you rubbed your feet on the carpet and you went over and you touched the cat. And a big spark jumped from your finger to the cat. All right. And it didn't cause a CME, did it? Nope. It was just an arc of electricity really quick. This is not the magnetic field latching onto plasma. This is a magnetic field bumping into another, causing a spark, causing the spark to jump. Bink. Okay. The explosion produced a bright flash of X-rays and UV radiation. The flare, but it failed to lift a CME. Okay, so no geomagnetic storms will result of this event. Don't be surprised if it still affects us. There's some gnarly X-rays that just came out of this, and just because you didn't see a big filament or a bunch of plasma. Well, if we could just see this event here on the 29th. I know. Bingo. Try it there. They don't have it in there either. But here you can see some of these little satellites over on this side kind of cruising through. Okay, if there's a planet Earth and a planet Venus and a planet Jupiter and Saturn and Mars, all these planets that rotate around our sun, well, there could be other stellar bodies out there too. The concept of other stellar bodies existing out there is so great that the chances of it, the odds of it are so great, and yet everybody thinks it's impossible. It's just the oddest thing. And we've all been taught to think, oh, nope, we're the only things in the universe. No. Plenty of other stellar bodies out there interacting with our sun. They just don't want you knowing. We covered that. Now what I got to do is I got to close out some instruments. My computer was acting up trying to get this show started. So now what we're going to do is come over and check out the Schumann resonance, okay? When the core is spinning inside the shell, or the outer core, okay, there's an inner core and a barrier and then another layer called the outer core, or what I refer to as the shell, okay? When the core spins inside that shell, it propagates our magnetic field outward in all directions, okay? That's what our Schumann resonance is a magnetic field, and it hums at 7.83 hertz, and that's our Schumann resonance that we all survive on. Now, when we have these events where we take on a lot of radiation and we start to see effects down at the core level, well, then that starts to affect our Schumann resonance. All of a sudden, the core and the shell start to grind, and they touch each other and start to grind, causing intense frequencies at low, or intensity at low frequencies. Okay, this is 0 through like 8 right here. 7.83 is that green line. And we want a nice smooth green line. We don't want these little jabs and these little spikes and little breaks in there. You see how it gets weak right over on this side? Okay, that's not good. Neither are these ones. And when this happens, it messes with your emotional state as well. You see, we got to have that 7.83 frequency or you lose your mind. The Russians accidentally launched some cosmonauts without providing this frequency in the capsule, and they lost their minds and killed each other. They turned violent and killed each other. So when you get weak magnetic frequency, a weak magnetic field, a low Schumann, that's when people get irritable, out of control, violent. And then we get these swings from, really weak Schumann to super strong, and then back to normal, back to strong, back to normal. So there's these fluctuations up and down like a roller coaster that mess with your moods in the background. Okay, without you even doing a thing, you're going along, minding your own business, having a great day, and somebody spits on you. You see what I'm saying? And it's in the background, and they don't even know what's going on either. But you do. When you understand how this works, you'll understand why this stuff is going on and why this part of the report is important for you to grasp, because later on in our spiritual report, it comes in handy. Okay, so that's your Schumann for the last couple of days. I wasn't here yesterday. I was on another planet, basically. Felt like I was in another world. Anyways, very rough day yesterday. Roller coaster ride. Intense, nothing. Intense, just these over and over, pressure building, relieving, then weakness for a while, and then getting into today. Now, lately, we've had some good continuity, all right? Came out of the battle pretty good. PTSD still setting in, but still kind of cruising along, maintaining. So let's move over, Rover, to the null school here, and we'll get started on this. Now, something we've got to point out here while we're on this setting here, our intertropical convergence zone. This is where, let me just adjust a tad bit here, because this is not where I like it. Right there's a little bit better. All right. This intertropical convergence zone. Whoops, let me pull it down. This blue line right here, where wind from the southern hemisphere meets wind from the northern hemisphere, this convergence zone is supposed to be down here at the equator. Okay, I'm going to release the winds. All this air is coming up across the equator and up into the northern hemisphere. This is not normal activity, okay? We have a shift in our convergence zone. It doesn't mean the whole planet shifted or the poles have shifted, but our convergence zone has shifted. And when you come over to this side, you can see air from the southern hemisphere, not making it up to this latitude quite as much as over here. Let me release the winds again. Actually, we're seeing a good healthy dip come down and block this activity. That's good. That's what we want to see, is more of this normal activity. Just a couple other examples over here. Our convergent zone was coming up here into India, and now that activity has stopped, so that's good. It looks like we're kind of going back to a little bit more normal around this area, but we still have that convergent zone shift right above the La Nina right there. Maybe the La Nina will recover here. All right, now what we're going to do is go up in altitude just a tad bit. Check on some of our vortexes. Okay, there's a good one going on there. Good one. Ooh, look at this. Two googly eyes, a nose, and a crazy mouth. All right, so a couple of vortexes going on up there, but this is the one to talk about. I don't even know what to say. We have a gnarly Category 5 typhoon eliminating the island of Taiwan. This is just going to cause major damage. Yeah, and this is where our fulcrum point is too, here, just off of Taiwan, right in that little corner. There's the fulcrum point of the plate boundary. I need something to drink here. That's what it is. So again, major vortexes. These storms are getting pretty gnarly. Thankfully, over here we have a sand inundation, sandstorm. So we're going to come over here to our particulates and check on our sandstorm. Oops, I got to take the wind off really quick. Now, these sandstorms hinder the cloud top height and strength of the genesis of hurricane production, or hurricane production in this region right here. Okay, so right now it's not the strongest sand plume coming out, but it is something, and it's still quelling that activity through this zone. And we have our intertropical convergence zone that was up here at 15 at this latitude up here has dropped down, back down kind of a little bit lower to here. It's allowing more of that sand to come out. All right, so that's good. Even though it's not really strong, the change in the convergence zone right here is allowing more sand to come across this area, hindering hurricane production, thankfully, because we would be in big trouble if it wasn't for this. This whole time, we would have been just lashed. All right, we come over to this region over here. You can see the face is still there, kind of calmed down a little bit, not so agitated, but you could see Saudi Arabia is still very dense sand plumes there. Okay, this camera doesn't like this color that much. All right, so there's your sandstorms kind of spreading around the planet. We were seeing activity in South America. They had their own sandstorm, and so did Australia. So other continents besides Africa have their own independent sandstorms going as well. Okay, and you can see the winds taking it up in here to Spain, where they saw the rain, and it came down the plain and caused a lot of pain. Let's get on over to our SO2. This is sulfur dioxide. SO2, not CO2. This is sulfur dioxide. Okay, this is basically vaporized magma. Okay, SO2, sulfur dioxide. It comes out of the ground so hot. All right, first off, you can see that we have a nation divided here. One side, very porous, bleeding out on this side, the East Coast. Over here, more thicker crust, more granite, mountainous. So you see perforations, volcanic perforations bleeding SO2. All right, and then whoosh, there's your country divided. And if you think it looks divided now, wait until after Election Day, no matter who wins. Anywho, now this gas, SO2, being basically vaporized magma that's in vapor form. It comes out of the ground so hot that it sparks fires in surrounding vegetation. So we come in here and we do our fire report as well. And as you can see, we got all kinds of fire activity going on around some of our spots coming out here. It started up here in Canada last year with a bunch of major fires, but now this activity has shifted to the lower 48. And now here again in Idaho and parts of Montana, it looks like here, we're seeing intense SO2 plumes starting fires again. Okay, these fires are started from underground. Okay, this gas comes out so hot, sometimes it sets the root structure of the trees on fire, and it will smolder the root structure for days until it finally gets up to the not the crown, but the little cone effect on the underside of a tree. If you've ever seen a tree that's been tipped over and its root structures almost look like a funnel, the heat goes up that funnel and starts the tree burning from the middle out. Yeah, you guys seen those trees burning from the middle out? That's how it happens. It's because SO2 emissions, heat from underneath is starting the root structure on fire, and it's burning up through the core of the tree. All right. Anyway, you can see we're having a little fire activity because of this. It's starting to increase again. Now, to come all the way down to Mexico, nothing too major right now happening. Okay, we can't count these over here because there's people in factories and stuff. But you can clearly see some of these are, like up here in Canada, really quick. Those two fires right there are definitely from SO2 plumes. Down here, this one, these ones, you can tell which ones are. Okay, it's not too hard. It's pretty simple stuff. Okay, so SO2 report, and there's your fires right there. Now we're going to take the fires off because a lot of the world still uses fire to cook with and to heat their homes with. So Mexico, is this current conditions? Is this right now? Okay, just making sure. All right, you can see Mexico has all kinds of volcanic vents, activity going down through it. Cuba, Jamaica as well. All the islands out here, they're volcanic islands, and they're all having SO2 emissions, as you can see. Linz, you need help? Hang out here. I'll help you. Okay, just let me get through this report really quick. Hold on tight. We'll get there. All right. So there's our SO2 through that area. Coming down now through South America, you can see all these individual sites. This is not a plume that's blowing down the coastline. These are all individual pockets, little sites that are emitting SO2. Right here, we have this little open spot where we saw a big earthquake and some earthquake activity, relieve pressure, and possibly settle, some of these channels that form from this gas coming up from, through layers in the strata, these little channels that form. Well, you get an earthquake, it shifts material at different stratas, possibly blocking off some of the channels as well. So relief of pressure, blocking off of channels, reduction of SO2 emission sites right in that area. Meanwhile, right below it is our fulcrum point. Now, this is a weak spot in your plate tectonic system right off the shore, all right? And we got a good healthy spot right there. And there's this group of 5 right here. I always kind of check on these. They're always kind of a good gauge. So pretty strong right here. The upper one pretty healthy too. The middle one's filling in. And our latest new addition, the 5th spot out here on the coast, is there and pretty healthy. So I would say right now there's some pressure down below, a fair amount of pressure, and it's pushing a lot of SO2 up to the surface, pushing it through the crust like jelly or whatever. Anyways, magma would like to come out of these pores as well, but it's too thick and viscous, and it won't come out through these small little pinhole perforations that allow gas through. Meanwhile, wind picks it up, takes SO2 plumes out into the ocean. You can see a lot of SO2 plumes being carried out this direction this time, okay? Now we're going to come around here. We're going to check on Hawaii. I got someone I love that lives in the crater of Oahu here. So we're just checking, make sure we got good, healthy SO2 emissions. It's good. It relieves pressure too, so volcanoes don't explode and go off. All right. So you got to look at the pros and cons. All right. Because some things, even though SO2 is a poisonous gas, it's not all that concentrated towards killing people, but it's relieving pressure in the region. Okay, trying to get this digital effect out of there. All right, now we're going to come over here to China really quick, adjust for their time zone. And you can see that they got well, their emission levels might be unhealthy over here because now they're getting into the black. Okay, there's purple and then it turns black in some of these areas. All right, their perforations keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger because gas comes out and then rainwater goes back down through the little channel, deeper into the ground, eroding away the channel, making it bigger and larger in circumference and size and depth. So just allowing more and more and more, it's kind of like a runaway train. And it relieves a lot of pressure in that region, kind of keeping their earthquake activity down because they got so much SO2. But you can see over here, India starting to match China here, and Saudi Arabia and Iran, the Middle East, in a close third. Okay, what else? So I would like to check is the purple island of Java. Okay. We got a lot of SO2 emission sites on this whole island, lots of volcanic activity, and our plate boundary off of here. So this island and the plate boundary system act as a relief valve for pressure. So energy comes in from the sun, we absorb it, pressure builds, it shoves SO2 out through the cracks in the surfaces, and that relieves the pressure as well as earthquakes and volcanic eruptions as well. Now you see here on the island of Sumatra, it's filling in too with this activity, and the islands off the coast are all starting to have SO2 emissions. So You could see it all the way around the world. Every little place has got their own. Australia used to be free of this issue, but now they're having their issues as well. Now, what I want to touch on here, really quick, take a sip. There's Fiji in our deep quake region. Okay, this is where the plate boundary system starts. There's where the crack in the Earth's crust gets deep enough and gets down and starts to run as a plate boundary. Okay, so deep quake region, Fiji, the center of it, showing SO2 emissions. Okay, and then we have this little pencil-like island, little boat-type shaped island right here with two little SO2 emission sites that relieve pressure as it enters the plate boundary system, the tectonic plate boundary system there. And it acts like a slow leak in a bicycle tube or whatever and relieves pressure as it comes into that plate boundary system, keeping quake magnitude and quakes down in that region. Whew. Okay, now let's get into, do we cover the whole planet? Yeah, we do. Okay, now I want to get into our sea surface temperature anomalies. Okay, we have volcanic vents on the ocean floor that have opened up that are spewing magma, hot water, steam, even possibly radioactive isotopes from down below. Okay, here's Tamumasi, the biggest volcano on the planet. All right, and there's a bunch of seamounts around it. These seamounts, whatever they're emitting, whether it's steam, hot water, magma, whatever, cesium, as they emit whatever they're emitting, a column of hot water forms and reaches towards the surface. Hot water rises, cold water sinks. So that hot water rising in a column reaches all the way up to the surface. Once it hits the surface tension of the water at the surface, it's called surface tension. It won't let that heat go straight up into the air, so it blossoms out like a flower, almost like a mushroom cloud head at the top. And that's what you're seeing here are the blossoms, the tops of all these volcanic emissions causing superheated plumes in the water. Okay, so you're seeing superheated water in the North Pacific. And you can see different places have opened up, different places have closed up. We had this big triangle structure that was turning yellow. Now it's kind of changed. It's more yellow down in this region. A bunch of this pressure up here has been relieved. We had an earthquake up here, but this won't show the effects of that earthquake until tomorrow because this map takes so long. It's a day behind. Okay? All this data takes forever to make this map, so by the time it's done processing, it's a day behind. So today's earthquake up here in the Juan de Fuca that we're about to talk about will show effects on tomorrow's map. Comprende? Capiche? Good. Next. I want to go around the world, take a look at some of these spots. I'll let you take a little look at them too, wherever you're located on the world. Okay? Now we have all these volcanoes going off on land, all right? Well, underneath this is land. This is still the surface of the planet. It's just covered with water is all. So whatever volcano activity we see on land, you're going to see on the ocean floor as well. Now this whole system here is getting all wiggly and squirrely. We got new little spots opening up and closing. At one point you could see the actual mid-Atlantic ridge glowing. Oh, that was spooky for a minute. Okay, so there's all your little hot water emission sites. And what's really going on is up here at the top of the planet. Look at this. Hot water way up here in the Arctic Circle. Not good. Melting a lot of ice up there too. Okay, we're going to see desalinization of the Gulf Stream here pretty soon. You're going to lose that effect. Sorry, but you can see it coming. Where else are we going? Oh yeah, down here. So little spots down here are kind of opening up. And when a new spot opens up, sometimes you get a pressure transfer. There'll be a spot that's glowing over here and a new spot opens up and pressure from this will transfer over to the path of least resistance. And you'll see pressure drop in another region. So we're seeing multiple effects when a spot opens up, okay, and another spot kind of cools off sometimes. Now, what I like to do here is come in here to the island of Java, okay, where we're just looking at our SO2. Now we're seeing a hot water, just a little bit of back here in this bay and under this island right here. This island used to be surrounded with cold water because it vented so much pressure and relieved so much pressure down below that cold water could inundate this area. And now you don't see any cold water at all. In fact, you see heat plumes growing instead. Again, with another site that's opened up here off the coast of Sumatra, you can see there's a little plume growing under there. Meanwhile, what do you think's going on over here? You can just see it. The only thread is the ad right there. Okay, now you can see little spots taking place over here. So this activity is just changing day to day. It's hard to keep up with. You see down here, this is some of the coldest water in the world right now in their winter time. And now it's turning into hot. So, all right, now what we're going to do is put on the wind. Pull back a little bit there. Wind. And I want you to see how the thermal anomalies are affecting your air currents and your weather patterns. Okay. Over a hot patch of water, hot air forms. Over a cold patch of water, cooler air forms. Hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it. So where you got a hot, cold together, you're going to see vortex or rotation. Okay, and you're seeing your hot, cold vortexes being caused, or your vortexes being caused by your hot, cold configurations. That's what's controlling our weather, is the volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Okay, it's no longer just the sun and the wind patterns and the jet stream. No, we're having a different effect that's coming off the ocean. And you see how these line up with cold, hot patches. All right, now we come over here to where we were seeing conveyor belt type activity. Now we're seeing this tight rotation right here. So this might take some warm, look at this. Just leave this here for a second. All right, center of rotation right here. You see warm water getting pulled through this zone right up into here. This is going to become a strike zone right through here. Okay, you can see where it's going to pull stuff up in there. Also, what we can touch base on is your standard sea surface temperature anomalies in this area. But for right now, you can see your cold, hot water vortexes rotating around. And we had a conveyor belt type structure that was going, and now that has dissipated. And the sandstorm is no longer, or, you know, this region right here that was blowing hurricane, and the sandstorm was killing them. Now that kind of activity is kind of quelled. You see our different wind pattern now. Let me just get it right about there. Okay, you can see just a good little bit, but it's getting pulled down. It's not hooking up with the conveyor belt. So, good news as far as hurricane genesis or productivity in this region. What we have to worry about now is stuff coming off of here, rotating up. Okay, so we're going to have to watch this configuration closely, and this one as well, because you see this hook that's just coming up and giving right to Britain, right into Europe as well. This flooding in Spain. Can you see why that happened? All right, so now what we're going to do here is we got all that covered. We'll take the winds off and leave that map sitting there for a minute so we can open up an earthquake report. Oh, I had all this stuff all lined up, and then my computer just said, nope, I'm not going to do it. Restart, reboot, redo it all, and then it's still not going to work. So we'll just take it one page at a time. Alrighty, let's get into it. Let me open up some of this, and we will just start talking about it right off the bat with our, do our quake report kind of in reverse here. Everybody, this quake right here, bingo, your 6.0, came in as a 6.1. You know what happens at this site. There's risk 603. Good, I'm glad you showed up. Okay, good. Welcome. And I think you got other company in here, so don't be shy to chat with the friends in here. If you see somebody you know. We're all family here. You'll get used to it. Anyway, very good quake. This is perfect. 6.0, even though it didn't cause a tsunami or anything, it didn't cause any damage either. That relieved a bunch of energy along this whole area that's been built up. And what I'm going to do now, we're going to come on over to that region here. Okay, this tip right here is the plate boundary, Wanda Fuca coming out and going up through here. Okay, you see this little blue patch that's just above the line, comes out, zigs back, zigs forward. So coming out, oh, look at that. Right there and right here is a cold spot. Pressure has been relieved in this area. It's already shown it the day before. This map isn't even, this is yesterday. So we were seeing something already on the map forming in the thermals before we even seen the quake. And there's 6-point energy right there being relieved. That's the biggest quake in this region for a while. And a much needed relief. We shouldn't see a bunch of aftershocks. We won't see a bigger quake after this. It's not like you need to be scared because we just had a 6 out there. No, it actually did a little bit of help and relieve some of the pressure. You see this right here, right next to it. So you're going to have another pressure buildup eventually over time, and we will have to see more releases, but that's a good one. All right. I like 5 to mid-range 5 because that's the maximum release without doing any damage. And here's 6. That's even more energy released. Hopefully not too much damage. Okay. Capiche, comprende, catorce. Now let's get into our regular report. Okay. Our deep quake region. A lot of our energy, a lot of our activity originates in this area. And you can see this is where the plate boundary starts digging down deeper and deeper until it hits the ocean. That trench hits the crust, cuts through the crust, and now we have a plate boundary. All right, so this is like the very beginning. You can see this little twisting activity right here as far as all these islands being formed. I believe at one point in time, this may have been either one of the poles of the planet. And that's why you have this twisting configuration. I think it was probably either the South Pole, probably at one time. Now, and this is where you see your deep quake region. 5.1 down at 503. This is an uptick in magnitude. Usually we're seeing mid-range 4. It's only an uptick of a little. So 5.1 there at depth. Also 4.1 down at depth, that's 582. There's another mid-range 4 down at depth. And a 4.9 at 387, that's a little bit halfway, okay? So a bunch of 5s right here, 3 of them at depth. Well, a 5, a mid-range, a 4, and a mid-range 4 right there. All of them at depth, a mid-range depth one right there, which would put pretty good energy entering the system. We should see a healthy 5 to, maybe even a 6 enter the system here. But we have this island that emits a lot of SO2, which relieves a lot of that pressure. It comes up through here. It's been very quiet through this region because we have so much volcanic activity relieving pressure. You got to remember, this is like overcooking a hard-boiled egg. The egg shell is already cracked, and now the guts that you're coming out through the cracks, okay? And pressure runs along the path of least resistance, wants to relieve it, fulcrum points and bends. This is almost a fulcrum point, but we'll see the depth here. This mid-range 4 down at 86, that's on the side of a volcanic feature. See these volcanic islands right here? Whoops, maybe not. Did we just lose brightness or something there? Bear with me just a sec here. I want you guys to be able to see this. Okay. So, earthquake on the flank, volcanic feature. We come along the plate boundary here, nothing going on until we get to this area. And what do we see here? A 6, but this isn't at the surface. This is down at 521. This is another deep quake. we are seeing an uptick in magnitude at depth. Okay, that's an indication of some pressure going on down below. So we're going to be seeing a little activity here. Well, we're actually seeing activity being produced and released. Through here, very quiet because all the SO2 emissions. All right, we go up through here. We have the 4.6 at 126. Please, Lord, we have this one. Another 4.6, so same magnitude, creeping up the plate boundary. Okay. This whole plate boundary used to connect back here. It's like somebody just took it and shoved it out like that. And it created this fulcrum point right here. See it coming in and then comes back down this side. This little point right here in this little bay is where we see a lot of energy released. Just off of it right here, that is close enough. That's a fulcrum point quake, 4.2. It's a little deeper. It's at the flank of this little island right here that pushed up to the surface. You can see the flanks of it under the water. Okay, so you can see that this just off of this island is your down at depth, not depth, but 92, off of your, just off the fulcrum point. So energy that came into this fulcrum point didn't get released at the surface, but it pushed up underneath this volcanic and released there. And when we come over to that part of the world, come on over to Taiwan really quick here. Okay, we can see that Taiwan has also had a little bit, we had some yellow inundation coming in here and it's been relieved. So now we're seeing not so yellow, more of the reddish color. And just really quick, let me pull up the color chart. Black being neutral. This is the colder side going down, warmer side going this way. So you got browns and dark browns and reds and oranges, then yellow, then white. Okay, so the darker area right here, this brown little patch right there, means the water has cooled off right next to our fulcrum point. It was yellow through here. We're seeing cooler water. See cold water starting to inundate over on this side. So that's a good sign that some relief, a little relief of pressure. And still, this is yesterday's map. So after the quake here today, we should see a little light, hopefully lightening up of the red there too. Whew. Now back to the quakes. So good quake right there. They needed that release of energy on the fulcrum point before. If we don't have, or every once in a while a release of energy, it'll build up and it'll be a bigger quake. So as we kind of go around the system here, just really quick before we go all the way up that side, just off the fulcrum point over here, this is a new site. 4.4 at the surface here. Okay, we got all kinds of fault lines that just run through all this. You could just see them, and the ones you can see are huge. Imagine all the little finger-like ones that you can't see. All through this whole area is just fault lines, and you see that it's a good spot for release at the surface. And we get a 4.4 in this area. This might be an area to watch, especially with all this structure like that. That might be a good area for releasing energy for them. Really quick over here, these guys over in Pakistan messing around still, get a 4.3 at the surface. And I don't believe there was anything over there. Oh, yeah, right here in the Holy Land. 4.3 in Egypt at the surface, scrubbing energy in that area, and they have SO2 emissions going along this area as well. Okay, let's back over and go through this side of the world now. Okay, Volcanic Island right here has lots of SO2 emissions that help vent a lot of the pressure in this region, but multiple fulcrum point area right there, so very dangerous area. Meanwhile, a little further north, 4.4 at 52, site of a volcanic feature. 4.8 up here in the Kamchatka down at 55. There's volcanoes that run all along this, out to this island. This right here volcanic row. This is a flank of the volcanoes that runs down to the ocean floor. This is like a giant wall that goes from volcano top down to the beach, down to the bottom of the ocean. In between the bottom of the ocean and our volcanic row, this would be the flank of the volcanic row. Down at 55, volcanic activity earthquake activity at volcanic sites is an indication of pressure down below, trying to get up through the surface at 4.8 magnitude, which is not too bad. It's really actually doing a great job of venting. All these little mid-range fours, that's perfect. See them all, bing, 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 all the way around the map there. Mid-range fours is good. Take that too. All right, now before we get into America and all magnitudes, just really quick, magnitude check, 4.3 there. Okay, our fulcrum point, remember I told you there was a quake in this region here and there's no little SO2 sites? Here's the same spot. This is the same place where the quake was before, and now we have another quake there at 4.5 down at 126, which will relieve more pressure in that area, and I expect to see less SO2 emission sites out of that region. Okay, fulcrum point quake. Doesn't look like it. It's not out here on the boundary, but do you see it inland? Do you see the fulcrum point inland? Okay, good. Fulcrum point quake at the surface, 4.3. Again, down here we have 4.2 at 241 and a 4.9, probably about a 5 right there. You know what we do with 4.9s at this site? They earned it. Oh, plate boundary quake down here, 5.2 on the Antarctic ridge. That's good. Relieving energy along this plate. That's good. And now, shall we hop in with both feet and all magnitudes too? Whoops. There we go. So we come in off of this fulcrum point. We haven't seen much activity at this fulcrum point in a while because we have 5 active volcanoes running right here, which relieve all the pressure. And then as we break away into this part of the chain now, just going to do a few little, we got microquakes at volcanic islands. You see these little micro ones. I want to do a quick little magnitude right there, 3.9, okay? And then right here is a good 3.7. Okay, so good. We have matching magnitudes on either side of the plate boundary. This is on one side of the plate. This is on the other side. So we got a good spread of even magnitude. There's a mid-range 3 right there, too, across from it as well. Good little spread. It displays the energy out in a wider fashion. Does less damage, too. 3.0 right here. Good, good, good. And one last thing I want to check. Okay, we have multiple fulcrum points here. You got your plate boundary one. You got this one out in the ocean, underwater. You have one in the bay, the mountains that run right behind it. There's another set of mountains that run behind that one. And we pull back. You can see it's just multiple fulcrums. It's almost like God just took his finger and went like that, and all these little waves form out. Like a snow shovel when you're pushing snow, you'll see it crumple up and out in front. Those are pressure waves built up. 3.6 right there, magnitude check on a fulcrum point. It came through this area with 3.6 there, very quiet through there, and then, ta-da, 6.0, 6.1. Let's just open up the tsunami thing really quick. Not because there was a tsunami, because 6.1. See it right there? So, little discrepancy. Tend to believe the higher of the two, especially with NOAA and USGS being the way they are. Now, relieved energy through this whole plate system, and actually we're seeing a little bit of energy comes in. Fulcrum point right here doesn't release. It shoves down to this corner and then has to turn. Energy doesn't want to turn. It wants to push inland. And it didn't there, but we've seen a little bit of inland push here 2.3. And then right across over here at the geysers is a bunch of activity relieving pressure. This is good because it relieves pressure as it comes down through this system. You see the San Andreas running through here. Well, there's like 50 other little fault lines that parallel it, okay? There's just all kinds of parallel structures all the way through. You see them all the way through here. They're just all over the place. Okay, so there's a lot of fault lines that run through here, and this, as energy pushes, not energy, but a pressure pushes into this fulcrum point up here, it wants to come down through this region. This relieves a bunch of it before it hits the Bay Area. That's good. A lot of people there. 2.2, a few little magnitude checks. I think that might cover all of that. I'm going to come out here just a little. Magnitude checks in Oklahoma. You know, we have man-made perforations in the crust right here that act as, well, relief valves as well. Okay, that's pretty much it for your quake activity. Let me bust out a earthquake report, or a volcano report here, how it associates with the weather, and then we'll hop into the spiritual report. Okay. Let's get this a little bit. Okay, so let me just touch base with you guys here. Can you see up here, the top up here? No, you can't. It says 36 erupting, 33 in warning, warning 33. Okay, the other side, I don't even count. So 36 and 33 is 69 active volcanoes. If not erupting, active. All of them are active, but 69 volcanoes. Now that started, what's going on with this page now? Not going to cooperate, huh? Well, that's making up its mind. You know, my only problem, McAfee, is you. Did you know that? You know that you are the only thing that's my problem. All right, back to my report. 36 erupting, 33 in warning, 69 volcanoes total. That's not counting the other ones. Whatever you're doing, stop it. 69 volcanoes. And 7 years ago, if I had told you we had 69 volcanoes, you would have said you're crazy. Fine, leave me alone. All right, here we go. 7 years ago, when all this started, if I'd have told you we had 70 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you're crazy. And here we are 7 years later, and I'm still crazy about you. And IBU is Ebu at 11,000 feet, Luatobi 9,000, Ducono 8,000. Okay, those are some healthy heights. Holy hope. We have a 29,000 foot blast out of Popocatépetl. Okay, this activity out of this volcano has been reaching some really big heights lately. And some very interesting cloud features, or plume features, I should say, coming out of this volcano. We'll take a look at, hopefully I'll remember to show you that tonight. Meanwhile, Fuego, 15,000 feet, Nira Magira, still ongoing. And that was just in the last few minutes. Okay, that was the 31st. Here's the 30th. Here's today, which is now yesterday, because, well, time flies at this channel. And here's the map of insanity. All these active volcanoes up here in the Kamchatka: Shivalush, Kluchevskoy, Bizamani, Karaminsky, Abaid, and Ebiko. That's a lot of active, currently erupting. That it's more than active. Those are currently erupting. This map is insane. Don't let it desensitize you into thinking this is normal activity. And don't forget little active volcano on Antarctica there. All right, let's dive in. Manam, 7,000 feet. Luatobi, 9,000 feet right there. Semaru, usually 14,000. That's on the island of Java. And Semaru goes off every day, usually 14 to 15,000 feet. Excuse me, Ducono, 8,000. Here's Popocatépetl again with a 24,000 foot blast. So earlier today, or what's now yesterday, it was at 24. We just saw a blast a few minutes ago at 29. That's a difference of 5,000 feet. I would say a higher difference of 5,000 feet. There's been an uptick in pressure down below, resulting in a higher altitude volcanic blast. Whew. Okay, I think, no. So ongoing still at 24,000 feet. Santa Guido, 14,000. Fuego, 16,000. Sabancaya Erdeo in Ethiopia, spattering of lava overflowing. Here, you want to see it? This is what happens when pressure down below makes it through a perforation in the crust. The same activity on the ocean floor as well. And then a little puddle forms right here, venting all kinds of heat. Okay, so quick little display of an open vent, venting pressure, heat, steam, magma, everything all at once right there. You know what this cloud is right there? Everybody, can you answer what the cloud of vapor is right there? That's right, sulfur dioxide. Go, close it, move on. These lists are insane. I don't know what to tell you guys. Just don't look at these. Just pretend it's not there, because if you wrapped your mind around what's actually going on here, it's just crazy. All right. Before there was one volcano, and it was at, Maui or Hawaii, and every once in a while it would just burp a little lava. Now we have 69, almost 70 volcanoes. 36 of them, more than half of them, are currently erupting. I didn't say that. This says currently erupting. Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay. Each one of these blasts puts a lot of ash up in the air. Okay. All those particulates, ash particulates, cause raindrops. A raindrop can't form unless it has a particulate to adhere to. Now, when you only have a minimal amount of particulates, well, then you can only make so many raindrops. But when you start adding tons and tons of particulates, now you've added the capacity for making a lot more rain. And why is it not right there? There. All right, so you got particulates, and then I showed you thermal patches in the water. That's water evaporating into water vapor in the air. So now we have a deadly combination of added water in our air and added particulates for that water to adhere to. And now we have higher water concentrated amounts out of your storms. Just out of this world jump in the amount of water we're getting. Okay, the percentage of water to air mix has changed a lot, and now there's a lot more water in our air, producing heavier downpours, larger hail, stronger storms, all that great stuff. And then we got to throw in the spiritual realm that is just wreaking havoc with the weather. It's really the spiritual realm that's causing all of this to coagulate together. Okay, current conditions, October 30th. Right now at nighttime, we're still having a pretty strong QLCS through this region. Okay, so everybody, I didn't produce too many tornadoes. So just large hail, high wind, very strong downpours, flash flooding, all the stuff that comes with that. Okay, and I can't list all this stuff off. There's just so much. So now we're going into the morning of Halloween here. You see this comma shape rotation structure starting to form. You see these individual these quasi-linear bands forming. This is going to be dangerous, I think. The way this tightened up so quickly with such cold air and such hot, moist air, you're going to have this band. I would watch out carefully tomorrow, because that's at the morning of the 31st. There's noon, and it kind of diminishes by convection. Now, hopefully that's the case, and it moves, and it even kind of loses power at the nighttime. And there's the morning of the 1st. Also watching the West Coast here as we start to see this one little ridge that's starting to break down now and let stuff over the top of California. We're noontime the 1st, convection, nighttime, morning of the 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. You're watching that moist air coming up. See this cold air coming in, right? For morning of the 3rd, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 4th, cold air in the morning. Then at noon, it warms up, kind of diminishes the effects. We're seeing a little different effect here. That's good. Noon, it diminishes. Convection, though, right back here on the 4th, November 4th, the convection, another nasty quasi-linear setup there. Really nasty there at nighttime the 4th. Let's pray that that doesn't happen right there. This event right here, if you see this coming together at the morning of the 4th, you see severe weather out here in the mid plains there by the 4th, watch out for this next little dose right here. Yeah, one more week, D. I know, dude. Hold your breath, man. Hold on tight. Enjoy life while you got this last week. All right, there we go. That event, a nighttime event on November 4th here, is not too far out of range for the models. So be weather wary. We'll keep doing this till we get to that date. So nighttime of the 5th, morning of the 6th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 7th right there, making a little landfall. Noon, convection, nighttime, diminishing. Did you just see that? This thing kind of comes in like it means business, gets right to the shoreline, goes, never mind, I quit. Meanwhile, over here, you see this little blossom effect coming back. There's moisture still coming up around the backside of this rotation. Come on, move. Gets caught up in that rotation, spins through there. Now that's way out there in the future, so we're not really time stamping stuff. I'm just kind of showing you our new little weather pattern there and how things are cycling out. Brian, do you have an X account? No, I don't have an X account. I don't do Twitter. I don't do X. I don't do anything but this YouTube channel. For a reason, too. But D-Res, you can always leave me comments. I'll give you my email, but I don't even check my email anymore. So what good's giving me my email if I don't even check? It's so full of ads and stuff, I can't even access my email. So what good is it? Anyways, there's your severe weather activity. That latest little comma shape there in the next couple of days is our main feature to watch as far as severe weather. This finishing off, and then this little low. Hopefully that diminishes like that. And then this little push right here around the 2nd and 3rd. And then maybe the 4th. We'll see. That's a little far out there still. That might change. Okay, so there is your astrophysics, your geophysics, and now it's time for the metaphysics, or how you work. The physics of you. Get rid of some of these other sites. Now get into some stuff here. Actually, come back over to this. Where does... Oh, I think it's that one. Nope, it's this other one. Okay, so I take a lot of pictures of the clouds, okay? A lot of faces showing up in your clouds. This is what the sky kind of just looked like at start. You can't really see the face, but there's an eye here, a nose, and a little scrunchy mouth starting to form right there. All right, so I took a few pictures before I went into the store because the sky was looking a little strange. All right, this is all before I went into the store, and then I come out of the store, and this face has turned into the Grinch. Hopefully you can see the Grinch here. There's a little nose, puffy cheeks, little eyes, little smirk. Right there is the Grinch. And why the Grinch? Well, the Grinch stole Christmas, didn't he? And you can see I take a bunch of pictures of this. All right, just keep going and going until my arms wear out. Some of them, I guess the shading changes the filter on my camera, but you can see that the Grinch starts growing horns and turns into the dragon. Can you see the dragon smiling at you there? This one's probably one of the better images, one of these two right here. But you can see how it was the Grinch starting to grow horns, turned into the dragon. The dragon is in the clouds looking at you all the time. Well, not necessarily you, but there's these faces happening in your clouds all the time. And if you'd look up, you might catch it. And anyways, these faces follow me everywhere I go. All right, got all these weird paranormal events started happening to me. And this is going to be not the one. We could go through that one later. I'm trying to find, there we go. All right, so here's some of these other faces that appear. And you can see an eye here, an eye. This face is bisected. One side's like a little demon. You can see his ear, his eye, his nose, evil smile. Much like that face I was showing you on the sun, has that little evil smile right there. Oh, you're just stopping by? I love you, D-Rez. It's all good, dude. You can always come back on replay. You can always leave comments and stuff. I have been so busy. I really don't have time to communicate much either, too. So I love you. Just thank you for being here and being part of this family, D-Rez, okay? Anyways, back to the show. So you can see this face is bisected, kind of like a little Ewok or Wolverine face on this side, and then this little demonic face on the other side. And that's showing you the split in the spiritual realm, good and evil. Now, the boy who cried wolf. Oh boy. What if I told you there was a wolf? Would you believe me if I said there's a wolf and you couldn't see it? Oh, you're just crying wolf. No, there's a wolf around. I'm telling you. There's a wolf around. Well, let's go this side. Bing. All right, let's go into this picture a little bit. I want you to see this eye is nice and defined right here. This eye not so much, but you can still see it there. Okay, here's his black nose. His mouth is open. He's huffing and puffing. The big bad wolf, huffing and puffing and blowing down your house. See the wind and the clouds coming out of his mouth? That's what I mean when I say the spiritual realm is in charge of the weather. Actually, a big bad wolf is. And we're going to continue because it continues to change. Now look at the other eye. Now that other eye, it's got a little bit more definition to it, doesn't it? You see this face really coming together. And then it changes. Oops, is that the last one? Yep, that was the last one. Bing, bing. Then it changes to this face right there. There it is. Now you can see the nose. This eye is much more defined. This one not so much, but the ear, the mouth still blowing. See that eye? See, there's the other eye. Okay, so what I'm telling you is there's these giant faces in the clouds that watch, follow, and study my every move. Okay, and I've been capturing this stuff for years now. Okay. Now this little guy, he pops up one day, just pops right out of the clouds, descends down. You can see there's a row of teeth in there, can't you? You see the eye, the long nose, the row of teeth, his mouth is open, little beard. And let me go back here. Or go this way. And you can see it's dropped way down from this cloud bank way up here. Ding. All right, so I got all kinds of activity that follows me everywhere I go. You can see this guy right here. See that eye right there? And this one has a cat eye. This guy reminds me of the little character that sits on Jabba's lap. Okay, so there's just a little sample of those for you. And then we're going to get into these. Okay, now, like I said, I got these giant faces in the clouds that watch, follow, and study me everywhere I go. And we're catching all kinds of different activity in these clouds. So what I'm going to do is pull up a few of these images, and we're going to do some reading tonight. Actually, I didn't even get a message to what to read tonight, Lord. But we're going to just kind of make it through this anyways. So, you thought Halloween was spooky and scary? Well, the scariest thing is actually, we could show you demons and stuff tonight, or we could just stick with the good stuff. Should almost do more of the darker theme show tonight, but all right. Here we are, another face in the sky forming here, and this ends up being my face wearing a crown here. And what's more important is where it's coming from. You can see right here, Jesus opening his shirt, pulling his shirt open, exposing his heart, and his heart's radiating out this big face in the clouds. Okay? Real activity. That's what's important that you guys need to know. You guys need to trust me. You need to believe me. This is very painful to hold my arms up in the sky to take pictures of these clouds. Here's the clouds mimicking me, holding my arms up with a cell phone, taking pictures of the clouds. So now the clouds are mimicking me. They're making my face in the sky. So here's the first part of my face showing up in the clouds. Then there was this in the same cloud, just at a different angle, is my face and Jesus' heart. Okay, so those are images we will be reading to tonight. In fact, I want that one right there. Does that fit in the frame? A little bit. Okay, so we got that one. We got some of these here. All right, and I cannot even have anything to read tonight. We'll just kind of pull up a couple more things. And all this stuff started happening to me right before the Revelation 12 star alignment. September 10th, 2017, man, my life changed in a way that would probably drive most people insane. And what's funny is I got sent all these mental words, but I'm not crazy. It's really happening. So, where was I going with this one, Lord? Angel? Oh. We'll do this one for a minute, since it's more of a spooky night. You guys want spooky stuff for Halloween? Here, we'll give you a little bit of this really quick. Oh, that's too big.
Howdy, folks. Welcome back.
There we go.
So I've been going through some more of these pictures and running them through the filter and stuff. And not only were we finding angels and also demons, and I've also found Satan in this
wondering
stuff
why my
too.
speakers aren't working.
As we're looking here at this picture, what I'm talking about is in this mosaic of blotchy white dots that you see this picture is comprised of. When you zoom in really tight in on a picture, you'll see that it's made up of these splotchy little patches and dots. These new digital cameras make these little blotches. Well, hiding in these blotches are faces. And if you haven't seen it yet, there's an eye right here and an eye right here. And when you make eye contact with these two eyes right here, you'll see the mouth fall into place down here. It's snarling. If you look, it's got some kind of streaks or horns or something or wrinkles coming out of its head up here. And this is some kind of demon or principality. You know, other people refer to them as principalities, but this is what I'm talking about. And hopefully you can see this here. This is a pupil right here of an eye. This is a pupil of a bigger eye. Here's the whites of the eye, the white of this eye.
So what I'm telling you is we wrestle not against flesh, but against demons and principalities and spiritual wickedness in high places. And you can see this demon right here, okay? This thing latch onto you, and all of a sudden you start having some wicked thoughts. Telling you what. So there's that, and then we'll get to this little guy, this ditty. Actually, really quick. Finish up with that. Then we go to here.
Now, because I've been capturing activity around this couch. And one night I was just sitting on my couch there praying, and wasn't really thinking of capturing anything. Here I was just sitting here praying before I started taking pictures or doing my thing, and it was already running. And lo and behold, there's some kind of demon up here. You'll see some green wings over here kind of flapping, and it lifts up my bike and spits a bolt of energy on it.
Real poltergeist
activity. I had no
activity.
idea this happened until I went back through my pictures
I
and
don't think
stuff.
you're timed out.
And I put this series into motion.
You're
in a
always
flip
welcome
book,
here, Jeremy.
And I realized, oh my goodness, look what happened. It picked up my bike and spit a bolt of energy on it. This one you can't really see the face too well, but you can make out the wings kind of flapping. Maybe we'll pull it over this way a little more. There we go.
Good. Yeah, sometimes we get a misfire and
And
accidentally.
this thing turns, picks up my bike, lifts it up, and spits a bolt of energy on it.
This is real activity.
Okay, there's that. I'll let you look at that one for a second longer.
This bike broke the next day, almost killed me.
Okay, in this series here, I'm sitting on the couch again praying, the camera's set up, and you'll see a purple streak, a bolt come in here, right there, boom, and it hurt. You can see my reaction to it. So we'll let it run again. Here I am sitting here praying. There's all kinds of stuff jumping around in the background, and then zap right there. And that was a real one. I could feel it. And now when I go back, we're going to go back to the top of that bolt and zoom in on the face.
The most scariest face you'll ever see.
Here's the frame.
Okay, fair warning, this is the real deal, okay? So when you understand how real this is, that's what makes it very scary. So happy Halloween.
Out of that sequence of me getting hit with that bolt, you can see the bolt coming down here. It's got a kind of a purple hue to it or whatever. And then we're going to start zooming in to the face up top here, and it's going to be Satan's face. So you guys ready to see this? If not, you might want to stop the video at this point. But I do not glorify this at all. I do not like to give him attention.
Maybe on Halloween.
It's important to know that he's real, because he wants everybody to think that he's not real. I think you might be able to see this face without me pointing anything out yet. There we go. Okay, so let me zoom out so I can see it. If you look right here at this eye, this is his crazed eye. The other on the other side is bigger. It's the all-seeing eye. It's a little out of proportion, but then you can make out the side of his face, his jawline coming down, the bottom of his chin, his face going up here. Here's his mouth with some evil kind of grin on it.
Kind of like that one on the
You
sun.
can see his ear coming out over here. You can make out horns coming up.
I'm telling you, we wrestle against
mosaic of dots
principalities.
again, but these faces pop out and they're more prominent. You can see this one really stands out. And that's Satan right there. You can even make out some wings coming up here.
You'll see him when I pull back a little.
And he's mad. He's mad because I'm praying. And he's spitting bolts of energy.
Imagine having this thing on your back attacking you all day long. Everywhere you go. It's attack after attack after attack. It's just crazy. So this is real stuff that's been happening to me. Okay. And I've just been trying to, capture as much of it as I can. Now, back to other better news. Actually, let's go back and revisit this because I want to read you. And then that led to this activity in the clouds. Okay, so most everybody here has seen all that stuff. Here, just really quick, I've taken the this image and run it through the filter.
Folks, welcome back. So, yeah, turn your head to the right about 45 degrees. You can make out his face, his eyes, nose, his chin and his beard, his hair flowing back, and the crown above it. And let's do it one more time here. Let's enhance it even more. There we go. Now you can really clearly see it. So I was just messing around and finally found a way to filter these pictures, and I've been going back through a lot of them and running them through the filter, and boy, do we got a lot of crazy crown.
So there's the original, and then when you add a little bit of color to it, tint to it, you can see it a lot clearer. Okay, this is my face showing up in the clouds again with a crown on it, but this time on Easter. A 2,000-year-old prophecy came true on Easter. Amazing stuff, you guys. You should really be, I know it's hard to say, but you should be celebrating. But we will have the fear that transcends, or the peace that transcends all your circumstances. There's a beautiful little angel hovering over a sleeping child there.
Howdy folks, welcome back. So I'm real excited to show you this one. This is an angel that was captured on my security cameras, and now I've run it through the filter here. So if you turn your head to the right about 45 degrees, you can make out the head, the hair, the breasts, it's a female, the torso, the waist, the legs coming down here, a wing coming off here, a wing coming off over here. And we'll zoom in on this real quick because this one's nice and clear that you can. Okay, and this is an angel that was caught hovering in a shaft of light over this sleeping child down below here. So, zoom in on.
Okay, kind of a comforting photo right there. This angel hovering over the sleeping child. This is the spiritual realm, okay, captured on our new digital cameras. Our LED lights that are yes, this is in my house. This is activity that's happening in my house that happens to me all the time. But anyways, a good little image of the spiritual realm right here, captured on our digital cameras with the new technology, and also our new LED lights put out a different spectrum of light also. So we're capturing the spiritual realm when it appears, and it's being captured on security camera, which is admissible as evidence in court. So you're looking at a legal angel right there. I tried to show this to a lot of different doctors, different authorities and stuff, and they wouldn't even entertain it. They wouldn't even look. But boy, did they miss out, didn't they? When you see what's really going on and the ramifications of what's really going on and what the knowledge you have compared to the people who didn't look, yeah, you're blessed. So now what we're going to do is get a little bit of reading in really quick. I want to pull up the giant face by the moon.
Sam Brown's
Of course, we're going to have the ad until the political season's over. I went and timed the ads compared to a quick little show, and there was like 3 minutes of ads at the beginning, 1 minute of show, and then it went to ads again. And if you didn't click ad, the ads just continue to run. If you don't hit skip ad, they'll just throw another one and throw another one and throw another one. All right. All because I just wanted to pull up one image here. Whoops. Theater mode, get rid of this chat. There we go. The reason why for this face is because, again, it's my face showing up again, this time out by the moon. And what was funny about this incident is the moment this gentleman captured this event with his brand new camera that he went and purposely bought for this event, when he captured it was the same time I was doing a reading to you guys like this, what I'm about to do now. And I just turned on my book light to look at some of my notes here, and it's shining on half of my face just like that. So that's what I look like right now reading to you, okay? And when you see that little angel and you see this here, Jesus pulling open his shirt and exposing his heart, where's it? Just a tad bit better shot. Right. Yeah. Could we go just a tad bit more? That's better right there. Okay. So knowing that all this comes from a place of love, you see, come back here, you see me in the clouds coming with power and great glory. You see my face out here by the moon. This should bring you a little bit of comfort, okay? That's kind of why you're here at this part of the show, is to receive that comfort, that we get from others sometimes. You're not the only one. I watch other YouTube shows because I like the gentleman or I like the lady, and their reports, their style brings comfort to me. So in return, I try to comfort you, and I want you to comfort others with the comfort you have received from me. So no matter what circumstances you're enduring, my presence and comfort are sufficient for your needs. Now, as a Christian, everything you endure has meaning and purpose. Your life as a Christian has meaning and purpose. A lot of people's lives have no meaning and no purpose. They're just running around blind to everything that's going on. Okay? And those are the people that when they finally see, they're going to need comfort. They're going to need that comfort that you've received from me. So I want you to comfort others with that comfort you have received from me, no matter what the circumstances you're enduring. Okay? It's hard. It takes practice. It takes discipline, especially when you're in tough circumstances and you want to try to comfort others when you're not in the best mood. That's tough stuff. So, as a Christian, everything you endure has meaning and purpose. Suffering can build your character and prepare you to help others who are struggling. That's what your suffering is all about. Your suffering is preparing you to help others who are struggling. So it's important that you talk freely with me about the difficulties in your life and ask me to use them for my purposes. Okay, we're building character. Every time you overcome something, it becomes a new picture in a collage. Okay, it's a new glory. You've overcome something, and you are going from overcoming one thing, overcoming another. You're going from glory to glory to glory each day, sometimes multiple in a day, because, well, we're in times where we got a lot going on in one day. So those of you that are suffering, that's building your character. It's building your character and preparing you to help others who will be struggling or who are struggling. Okay. So as you're struggling, you can seek relief from hardship, but be careful not to overlook the blessings that are hidden in it. See, there's all kinds of blessings in your hardship and in your pain and stuff. And a lot of stuff that we try to pray away is not, it's actually there to build you. So sometimes you're running in the wrong direction. Okay. Look at it this way. Your suffering is building character. It's preparing you to help others. Okay. And when you seek relief from hardship, be careful not to overlook the blessings that are hidden in your hardship. Now, when you draw closer to me during tough times, seeking my help, you grow in maturity and wisdom. You guys are becoming mature and wise, unlike a lot of this world who is lacking a lot of maturity and wisdom. So, this maturity and wisdom equips you to help others as they endure their adversity. Your empathy for hurting people will spill over into their lives. You know, empathy, when you feel sorry, you feel for the person, you can relate. When you can relate, that's your empathy. Your empathy for the people that are hurting, it will spill over into their lives and they will learn empathy. And you will find that you're the most effective at comforting those who are enduring trials that you have already been through. Therefore, you can relate. That's how this works. When you have been through experiences and you can say, yeah, you know what? It didn't look good, but I knew I was going to be delivered. I just had that feeling. I just knew if I kept persevering with patience that I would overcome and that I would, I would endure and that you would be delivered. When I got homeless, I was thrown out at the base of this mountain. I was thrown out into the desert, the base of this mountain. How ironic. They tossed me here. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be fine. You put me right under this? Oh, I'm going to be just fine. And I was homeless in the desert for a couple months, but I knew I would be delivered. I didn't freak out. I just managed and kept going. And I knew I would be delivered. You need to have that same foundation, strength, core, that maturity and wisdom that equips you to help others that are enduring the same adversity that you overcame. And you will be able to comfort those who are enduring the trials that you've already been through. Now you can grow in peacefulness through the discipline of hardship. Sounds weird, but you're growing in peacefulness because of your discipline of hardship. You've overcome some stuff and now you know, hey, I got a little confidence. I'm going to be delivered. I'll be okay. And that gives you trust and it gives you peacefulness. And you can grow in this peacefulness through the discipline of hardship. And though it is painful at the time, later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness. It does. It really does. You guys are finding it too. I know a bunch of you, and I'm watching you close. Okay? I'm watching you close. And the ones that are having success, I'm just so thankful. I'm just so happy for you. Okay? This is not about, hey, look at me. I fixed you, blah, blah, blah. No. You trusted me and you found success. And I'm just thankful for that. And thankfulness is the best antidote to a sense of entitlement, which is the poisonous attitude that the world owes me. This misconception is an epidemic in the world right now. And it's contrary to biblical teaching. Okay, one definition of entitlement is the feeling or belief that you deserve to be given something. Thankfulness is the opposite. So entitlement is the opposite of thankfulness. Thankfulness is the opposite, a grateful attitude for what you already have. Look at what you already have. Look at what you have. You have a firm foundation on which you can fall back on trust. You have knowledge that it's all about love, that you're enduring and that you're overcoming, that you're making beautiful collages, that you're going from glory to glory to glory. and you're overcoming, you're salvaging your days. Even though a day can start off weird, you will salvage it and be thankful. That's how you salvage your day, is look at all the things that you have and try to recognize the thing and be thankful instead of feeling entitled. Oh boy, I got all these notes afloat around this. Where to go now? So the opposite, yeah. All this entitlement in our world, and how much gratefulness, how much thankfulness. Not much, huh? You see everybody complaining and irritable. Wait until you're out in the desert underneath a mountain in this little bush right here, thinking you're going to freeze to death at night. Then you'd be thankful for a roof over your head, or the pillow, or a bed, or a bathroom, for that matter. So all kinds of little things that sound trivial, but go over those trivial things and they will help you during your anxiety. And thankfulness is the best antidote. Okay. Thankfulness is the opposite of entitlement. Okay. Every this entitlement, I deserve this, I deserve that. If I gave you what you deserved, your ultimate destination would be hell. You would have no hope of salvation if I gave you what you deserved. So be thankful that I am rich in mercy, and it is by grace that you have been saved. It's by mercy, by grace, by forgiveness that you have been saved. That's what you have to do, is forgive others. It will save you, your mental health. Okay? Boy. So you would have no hope of salvation. You would look at this. When you see these images now, you have hope of salvation, don't you? You see this and you're like, wait, this is real. This is the real deal. And now, when you believe me and you trust me, you have real hope. You have real salvation. You are practicing the art of salvaging your day. The root word of salvation, by the way, is salvage. Yeah, if I gave you what you deserved, yipe. All right, so thinking that you deserve more than you currently have makes you miserable. There is a problem in this country that people think that they deserve more than they have, and that makes them miserable. But those with a grateful attitude, well, it fills you with joy. You don't have much, but you're joyful. You can be happy with the little things that you have. They're little blessings, where everybody else got all this richness and they don't even appreciate it. So you are rich, and thinking that you deserve more will just make you miserable. So just be grateful with what you've got here. And moreover, when you are thankful, you worship me acceptably with reverence and awe. So when you're thankful, you're actually worshiping me, you're accepting me, your acceptance. So when you're thankful, it's a form of worship. It's accepting. You're accepting me. Oh, yeah. Can we do that one really quick? All right. I want a good shot of this heart really quick.
Coming in the clouds, what looked like a face over
Hang on, I want to just zoom in really quick. There it is right there. That image right there seems to capture him and his heart, his shirt pulling open right there. All right. I'll move my cursor. I want you to focus on that man right there and the love coming out of that heart. That's the Holy of Holies right there. You ever heard that term, Holy of Holies? It's not a little back room in a church. That right there is the Holy of Holies. Just FYI. And I am full of grace and truth. Grace refers to the undeserved favor and love that I have for you. Receiving something you don't deserve is humbling, and that's a good thing. Protecting you from pride. Okay? Protecting you from pride. Pride is it's just evil. It's all over the place. It infests everything, and you have to have protection from it. You can't just walk around without any kind of protection from pride. So receiving something you don't deserve is humbling. Okay, so humility is a good thing. Being humble is a good thing. It protects you from pride. Grace is a gift of boundless worth. It secures your eternal salvation. It secures it. You're secure. Your eternal salvation is secure now. And because you know me as Savior, I will always be favorable toward you. If you look at me and you know me that way, I will always be favorable towards you. My love for you is undeserved, unearned, and unfailing. So you can't lose it. Okay? That's the best part. That's why it's undeserved, unearned, and unfailing. So you can't lose it. All right? It's unlosable. It's unshakable. You're stuck with it. If it was deserved, it wouldn't be appreciated. So it's undeserved. If you had to earn it, well, then it would be fake. So it's unearned, and it's unfailing. That's for your security. That's so you know that you can't lose it. You just can't lose it. So just trust in my unfailing love and rejoice in my salvation. Do you guys get it yet? Do you figure this stuff out? Trust in my unfailing love and rejoice in my salvation. Salvage being the root word again. I am not only full of truth, but I am the truth. I am the truth. I am the way. I am the life. I am not only full of truth, but I am the truth. People today are barraged by the news and messages that are laced with spin and lies. Basically, everything you see on today is laced with spin and lies. And as a result of this wicked, I don't even know how to say it. Just spin and lies. As a result of this, cynicism abounds in the world. But in me and in the Bible, you find absolute, unchanging truth. So knowing me sets your feet on a rock and gives you a firm place to stand. Now, doesn't it? When you look at that and you put your feet on that rock, it gives you a firm place to stand. That's your rock, your foundation. This secure foundation for your life, okay? It's not just a foundation, it is a secure foundation for your life. What you're looking at, this secure foundation for your life makes you a bright beacon in the dark. So, you're a bright beacon in the dark, kind of like my little symbol, the moon, little beacon in the dark. So this secure foundation for your life makes you this bright beacon in the dark. So let your light shine so that many will see and put their trust in me. And I think that's it. No, was this one hook up to it? Yeah, we got one more here. We'll close with this one really quick here. I know that one looks kind of spooky, huh, for Halloween. But that's my face. A big old nose. My scarred up forehead. All kinds of scars and scratches and cuts across my forehead. It's so funny. It reads like a book. My forehead reads like a book. It's funny. All right, so where are we going with this one, I guess? So I guess we'll just try it like this. When you look at that, I want you to have quiet confidence in me, your living God. Remember what I talked about being alive and being dead? In order to be a living God, you have to be in the flesh, alive. So therefore, I want you to have confidence in your living God. Isaiah wrote once, "In quietness and confidence is your strength." So try that quiet confidence in me, because in quietness and confidence is your strength. And sometimes people use loud voices or preposterous promises to gain power over others. Did you hear what I just said? Sometimes people use loud voices and preposterous promises to gain power over others. Like an election, maybe? Loud voices, preposterous promises to gain power over others. What a disease we have. And these noisy speakers and spin doctors and pundits may appear to be strong, offering health and wealth to the people who give them money, but they're actually parasites. Yeah, feeding off the host. They're parasites. They survive by sucking precious resources out of you, don't they? Who's making all the money from these campaigns right now? Where are all the ads running? On YouTube, on syndicated TV, all those networks probably just raking it in from you guys. From your political donations go right to those guys. Yep, those noisy speakers, spin doctors, pundits that appear strong are fucking parasites. Pardon my French, but I have to every once in a while. They survive by sucking precious resources out of you. And I don't like that. True strength comes from quietly trusting in me and my promises. See, I want you to have true strength to fight these parasites. You're going to need real, true strength, not this fake, got a tattoo and I work out every day. Yeah, you'll crumble under the pressure. But you won't. I want you guys to have true strength, and true strength comes from quietly trusting in me and my promises. So rejoice that I am a living God. You want proof that God is real? Well, how about here in the flesh, huh? What better way than to just show up in the flesh and prove it? Wouldn't that prove it if I showed up right in the flesh? That would make me the living God, because I am a living God, and you can rejoice that I am a living God and not some lifeless idol. I am the living one. I showed you that birthmark on the side of my chest. I was dead, and behold, I am alive. That birthmark. I was dead. Behold, I am alive. And I am alive forever and evermore. My power is infinite, yet I approach you gently and lovingly. So spend time with me, cherished one, relating to me in confident trust. And as you relax with me, I strengthen you, preparing you for the challenges you will encounter on the road ahead. And while you're focusing on my presence, use scripture to help you pray. You can draw near me by whispering, I love you, O Lord, my strength. When you whisper, I love you, O Lord, my strength, that gives you that true strength, the true strength that you're going to need to fight these parasites. Okay? I showed you that birthmark. Here, let's just get right to that birthmark right now. Just to touch base with you guys. Keep you guys on track here. Okay? Because this ain't a joke. It's the real deal. It's excruciatingly painful. And the most painful part is not being believed. If you can imagine that. You see a wolf and you tell people there's a wolf. And they're like, ah, you're crying wolf. Mm-hmm. If you'd only go look. What was I getting here? Get away from me. I was going to try to show you one more thing. Oh, that reminds me of something else too. Yep. You can draw near me by whispering, I love you, Lord. And where were we going with this? I was going to pick out that one. Huh. Oh. Let's just change this up to world shines. I believe it was their community showed. We saw the damage. Look at that eye right there in the cloud. Where did it go? Maybe it was in a different thing. There was an explosion off of Popocatépetl, and the plume that came off the top of the volcano, there it is. That's a real image. Popocatépetl volcano, October 25th. Pretty crazy, huh? Pretty crazy. So, spend time with me, relating to me in confident trust, and as you relax with me, I strengthen you. I prepare you for the challenges that you will encounter in the next following days on your path ahead, on your road ahead. While you are focusing on my presence, use scripture to help you pray. Okay, true strength comes from quietly trusting in me and my promises. I want you to have that quiet confidence. Remember, thankfulness is the best antidote to entitlement. To your, if you're having an anxiety moment, look around, be thankful for the bird that's in the tree next to you. Just simple stuff will take your mind off of the situation and put it back on me where it belongs. Okay. And then once you regain composure, you can go about your day and try to salvage your day. Okay. When you see these faces right here, this is my face in the clouds coming with power and great glory. And when you come over here to this channel and you see this and you find it fascinating and intriguing and you're getting to know me, we're building this relationship. You see me coming in the clouds, you get caught up with it. Like a good book or good movie, you get caught up in it. You're caught up. You are caught up with me in the clouds. And I would love to come over to your house and give you a big hug right now, but I can't. I'm pretty beat up and almost paralyzed. But I can meet my family in the air, streaming live in cyberspace. So I meet my family in the air where they see me coming in the clouds and get caught up with me in the clouds, where I have gone in the air, which is cyberspace. I went ahead and provided a place that where I am, you may be also. Okay. Let's see if we can. I'm here on the other side of this camera right here. All right. Where I am, you may be also. See that face? Same one by the moon. Right there. So where I am, live right now, in this moment, you're in my presence. You get that peace that transcends your circumstances. Okay? I comfort you. I want you guys to try to comfort others with the knowledge and wisdom that you have. Okay? It's not going to be easy, and I don't expect perfection. It's progress, not perfection. It's the willingness to want to help somebody. You don't have to go help if you don't want to. This is about willingness. Are you willing to help others? Are you willing to bring that light into others' lives? Are you willing to trust me? Are you willing to take this foundation and stand on it, lean on it, build on it? It's all about your willingness. I gave you free will so you would use it. Are you going to be willing to do this? Are you going to be willing to Are you willing to hang out while we go buffering for a second? So, just remember, you can grow in peacefulness through the discipline of hardship. It might be painful at the moment, but later on it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness. And I want you to comfort others with the comfort you have received from me, no matter what circumstances you're enduring. It brings you peace of mind, okay? And you guys are actually getting this. I love it. I love when you guys get relief and you find that comfort, okay? It's not about me. Oh, hey, look at me, what I did and what I've done. This is about what I have for you and how I can help you in this season. I'm giving you meat in due season, so you will have the tools needed to salvage your day. Okay, not every day is going to go perfect and smooth. So when the bump hits the road, you take a few deep breaths, take a time out, put yourself in time out and pray for a minute and pour your heart out to me. Instead of complaining, try this. Jesus, help me. Then lay in with your complaint, because then it turned into a prayer and it's no longer a complaint. Then you can pour your heart out. You can drop as many F-bombs. I've heard it all. Okay. But that's when you're pouring your heart out, is when you're complaining, is when you're pouring your heart out, but you're not pouring it in the right direction. So you need to first start with, Jesus, help me. These people on their cell phones driving or whatever. Jesus, please help me. These political ads are driving me insane. Jesus, please help me. The people in line are doing this or whatever. When you change your complaint into the form of a prayer, it actually does wonders for your mental health. And then you've included me in it. We just overcame something together, didn't we? And I get to make a nice little collage of your glories every time you overcome one with me. You include me, together we make perfection. It's progress, not perfection. You include me, that's how we make perfection. Okay? That's how it's done. And if you see me here in the clouds coming with power and great glory, and you're caught up with me in the clouds, where I went ahead and made a place where I am, you may be also, that means you are raptured. Even though that word is not in the Bible, and everybody insists on relying on this magical thing where you're going to disappear without dying, this is the rapture. Okay? The word rapture is not in the Bible. It says, when you see these things come to pass, you will know I am present. It says, I'll be coming soon. How do we know when you're going to be here next time? Well, you will see these come to pass. When you do, look up. Nobody's looking up anymore. They're all looking down at their cell phones. I watch everybody in chat rooms all day. It's just, man, no wonder why you guys never see anything. You spent all day on the internet. If you were outside, spent all day with your camera pointed at the clouds, just snapping photos, you would see. You would see. So when those things begin to happen, they come to pass, look up. Your redemption draws nigh. That means your redemption is your redeemer. Draws nigh means is near, is coming, is close, is here. When you see him here, that means he's here. Don't you think? I mean, when you see him here, don't you think that means he's here? Yeah. Breaking headlines. The biggest headlines in 2,000 years. And only a few select get to know, and that's you. You guys actually have a higher security clearance than most people on the face of this planet. You here at this audience, even in replay, the people that believe me and trust me have a knowledge that surpasses every security clearance all these morons in the Pentagon can turn corrupt. You have something more. You have richness in your life. Also, something else I want you guys to understand as we're coming to the close here. Don't get scared at how many days we got left. Appreciate the time that you have. Okay? Say you got diagnosed with terminal cancer and they gave you 4 months to live. Well, in those last 4 months, would you kind of do your bucket list and go do some living for a change? Because everybody's worrying about dying. I'm worrying about you people living. You're not even alive. So the people here at this channel are alive. They are rich and full and vibrant. And they're struggling and they're going through all this pain and hardship and building character every day. You guys are spiritual warriors out there on the battlefield and just tearing it up. Way to go. Way to go. Well done, faithful servant. Keep going. It's for your mental health. Okay? It's a spiritual battle. We're battling against principalities and negative issues and stuff. Don't let this battle of the mind destroy your spirit. Okay? How are you gonna, all these preppers with all their preps, how are you gonna use your preps when you've lost your mind? You won't even be able to open a can of food with a can opener. Trust me, I've been there. Your hands are gonna be shaking so bad you won't even be able to open a can of food with a can opener. So what good is canned food and cans when you can't open them because you're terrified? So you won't be terrified. You will understand. You will have that knowledge that surpasses your circumstances, so where you can find peace. Lay into this foundation. Build on this foundation. Find peace and comfort in this foundation. Take that comfort and bring it into other people's lives. The same comfort you get from me, bring to other people. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I am wiped out. I thought I would be dead or in jail at this moment in time, and I got delivered again, and thankfully I'm here to do this report. So I love you guys. I miss you guys. And before I close this up, let's just, whoa, come back here. We're not going nowhere. Leave these images up. I want to thank Marcia. Thank you, darling, for being here. Jimmy, well done. K-Dog Mikey. My grandson is 3 years old, and I'm going to walk him around the main street, candy, trick-or-treating. Oh, good. We had Marcia, and then I had a new person. Hopefully Space Monkey made it to this end of the show here. If not, that's okay. Can always watch on replay. I just want to thank Jeremy. Becca is here. NRH, we're going to have to do some more chatting with you. He says, I would be careful. Private info. Yeah, you know what? I want you to know every last detail of my private info. Please spy on me. Please. I beg of you, spy on me. Watch me. Maybe you'll learn something. Watch me, please, FBI, all you stupid agencies. Maybe you'll learn some morals, some standards, some integrity, some courage. I doubt it. Probably just use it as a weapon, but be careful with that. Oh, I sure love all you guys. Marcia, she hired a woodworker and he kept wanting to touch my aura. I get mad screaming. I think it was more than your aura, Marcia. I think you wanted a big hug. No, you guys are awesome. I love you. All right. I hope you had a good time. I hope you feel comforted a little bit. You need this comforting during these times of trial and adversity. Okay. While you're going through adversity, chin up, try to endure it. Remember that we're building character here. You're gonna overcome it and receive a glory from it. So just try to bear down the best you can and endure. Okay, because he who endures till the end will find paradise. You will find me. Okay. I am indeed here. I am indeed back. I have been for a while. Like a thief in the night. It snuck in the back door 7 years ago when everybody was looking at the stolen election. I love you. I miss you. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. I was alive, I died, and I'm back again. So I will be back. I am already back. I'm already here. The signs are all over the place. And here's this. So take your foundation, rejoice that you are the select few. And if you still haven't caught on yet, don't give up. Don't leave until the miracle happens. Keep trusting. Keep trying. You will find with patience and perseverance, you will have success. And that one little success will be that mustard seed that you need that will grow a whole mustard field. And you will have all kinds of confidence and trust no matter what's going on. Okay? I love you. I miss you. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell?